Hello, my name is Christy Ye. I'm the Wellness Coordinator at Ponderosa, and today I'm going to be sharing a presentation about taking care of ourselves as parents during tough times. And if you have any questions after, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I love talking with our parents, and it's one of the parts of my jobs that I really enjoy. In addition to supporting parents and educators with self-care or other social emotional learning for students, I also supervise our counseling training program and sometimes provide social and emotional lessons in the classroom. So I'm going to share my screen with you and share a brief presentation with you about self-care right now. All right, so these are challenging times, so it's certainly a workout for us mentally to navigate these times. And I wanted to share a public service announcement for parents that a psychologist named Emily King wrote that has been really helpful for a lot of people I've talked to around managing expectations for themselves, especially with virtual learning. And it says, "Parents, what we are being asked to do is not humanly possible. There is a reason we are either a working parent, a stay-at-home parent, or a part-time working parent. Working, parenting, and teaching are three different jobs that cannot be done at the same time. It's not hard because you're doing it wrong. It's hard because it's too much. Do the best you can. When you have to pick, because at some point you will, choose connection. Pick playing a game over arguing about an academic assignment. Pick teaching your child to do laundry rather than feeling frustrated that they aren't helping. Pick laughing and snuggling and reminding them that they are safe. If you are stressed, lower your expectations where you can and virtually reach out for social connection. We are in this together to stay well. That means mentally well too." So I hope that's helpful just to prioritize and know that what we're being asked to do is impossible. And so you have to give yourself grace and make difficult choices. In terms of managing distance learning, the things I think of are making sure that we practice self-care, which we're going to talk about a lot in this presentation, taking breaks for both you and your child. And then I love this suggestion that came from the Big Life Journal, which is my favorite growth mindset resource. And they talked about distinguishing for your child when you're switching roles from parent to teacher. And so whether you're literally or figuratively putting on your parent hat, they gave the example of Mr. Rogers with his red cardigan, or just verbally acknowledging that, I think that can be helpful. And practicing the growth mindset, which we talk about at Ponderosa, and telling kids that mistakes help them learn, that they can do hard things, but also doing that yourself because we're doing hard things right now and we can. But also practicing grace and flexibility, setting realistic expectations, which at this time really means lowering your expectations, and being kind to yourself when you make a mistake, so that we're really modeling that for our kids, but it also feels good for our emotional well-being as well. And I recently read an article from Jessica Gross in the New York Times, and she wrote, "As we slouch into month 7 of the pandemic, the mental health impact on parents remains significant and shows no signs of abating. Though the pandemic has certainly affected the mental health of all demographics, research from the APA showed that in April and May, parents with children at home under 18 were markedly more stressed than non-parents." So I don't know that we need research from the American Psychological Association to drive this point home, but sometimes it feels good to have that experience validated through research. So just to know, it's been a long time, I think longer than most of us really realized when this all started, and to really prioritize your well-being, because this has been an ongoing challenge. I think, another article that I read talked about the initial sort of surge of energy we had to spring into action and respond to this critical incident of having the lockdown happen. But as we've gone on, it's become a chronic stressor versus an incident that we've dealt with. So our energy really goes up and down in terms of navigating this chronic stressor that's been happening over 7 months. So a big way to help with that is to make sure to practice self-care and take care of yourself, because this has been such a long stressor that we've been dealing with and will continue to deal with for quite some time. So thinking about self-care for tough times, I think there's a lot out there in the wellness industry about, manicures and spa treatments and bubble baths are lovely. But thinking about sort of the foundational things that you need to stay well right now. And a lot of times it's not the really fun stuff that we think of, like dinner out with friends or taking a trip. And it's that more basic stuff of taking care of our physical well-being, and that means walking or moving regularly. It only takes 3 minutes of movement to boost our mood and change our mood, and you can think about movement to sort of calm your body, such as a restorative yoga or stretching, or a movie to give you energy, like dancing to your favorite song or going for a run. So thinking about the ways that you like to move your body and thinking about moving for mental health and moving for wellness, not moving for any sort of diet culture reason. Eating regular snacks and meals, making sure you're staying hydrated so that you have energy to be doing distance learning and all the things. Maybe you're managing a job in addition to your role as a parent and a homeschooling teacher right now. Taking care of your physical health, keeping up with your medical appointments, and reaching out to your doctor to let them know how you're doing. If you're struggling with your mental wellness, if you would like a referral to talk to a therapist, we're seeing huge spikes right now in people reaching out for therapy because we are pretty isolated right now compared to how we usually are, and this stressor has been so chronic. So there's just been a big spike in feelings of anxiousness or feelings of sadness. And so therapy can be a really useful tool for that. We also have, and it's linked in here, new this year, a service that can link families to outside mental health service as well. And you can also talk to me directly and we can work on setting you up with a referral. Making sure to stay connected to your community, even if it's over Zoom or through text messages. Hopefully you're able to get out and go for a walk or something with a friend. Asking for help and really taking the help that's going to work for you. A lot of the help we're used to having, especially just having regular childcare through school, isn't happening right now. So you sort of have to evaluate that risk and see what kind of help you feel comfortable asking for. But it's important to know that it's really not sustainable to do it all on your own for months on end, and so to factor that into your decision-making process. And I know from speaking to different pediatricians in the area, they're telling parents what they're concerned about is seeing them come in on the brink of really just breaking down mentally. So thinking about their own wellness when they think about sending kids back to daycare or a hybrid setting. And so obviously that's something for you to work out with your doctor or with your own support system, but something to think about. Also, I think prioritizing rest is really important. I think as parents, we're always struggling with that decision between more me time after the kids go to bed or prioritizing our sleep. And now you add in what's happened, in our current political climate in terms of, and also in terms of the pandemic. And if you're reading news at night, it can be really hard to settle your mind and get good rest. So thinking about the things that you need to help you wind down your own system. And for a lot of people, that means not looking at the news later in the evening. For some people, that means charging their phone outside the room or toning down the electronics. Other people, watching a really calm TV show in the dark helps them fall asleep, and that's an easy way for them to sort of disconnect their mind and body and get ready to rest. So just finding the things that work for you and making sure a few nights a week to prioritize that. And then I think putting in some non-negotiable me time is important. And that can be 10 minutes, it can be an hour, it can be 2 hours, whatever works for you. But we are all home together a lot more than we usually are. And it's important to have breaks. I think it helps everybody in the family. So figuring out a system, whether it's using more screen time or trading off with your partner or whatever it is that you can do to make some time for yourself, even if you're just lying down and closing your eyes and you're not able to fall asleep. Texting a friend or just doing something that brings you joy, looking at a funny social media account or video online. That's really important. So know that you deserve to do that and to take that time for yourself. And it's great for you and great for your family because they're learning by you modeling how to take care of their own emotional needs. And I think we all want that for our kids. And so if you're feeling guilty, that's a way to challenge that guilt, is that you're trying to teach this self-love and healthy coping skills to your children. And what the best way to do that is by modeling it yourself. Another great hack at home right now, because we're not getting massages, is to do the self massage technique with a tennis ball. It's really affordable. You just need one tennis ball and you can have access to it at home. You could do it multiple times a day. So, really, it's just about putting the tennis ball behind your back and your shoulder and putting that between you and the wall. We carry a lot of our stress in our jaw and in our shoulders. And so helping to relax that is useful. You could also massage the bottom of your feet with the tennis ball as well, and that can be really relaxing. So anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds, and you can do it for different points throughout the day. Another quick, easy thing to do is taking some time to take a few deep breaths. Even 2 deep breaths can really change your mood. And a lot of times we're going so fast we don't think about it. If we slow down, it takes less than a minute. And another thing that you can do to help focus you when you're breathing or to help set your intention for the day is to think about something you want to breathe in and something you want to let go of. So it could be, I'm breathing in peace and I'm exhaling chaos. It could be I'm breathing in courage, I'm exhaling fear. So these are some ways to practice your breathing, to give yourself moments to pause and slow down. And this works for everyone, right? So whether you're someone who likes to meditate or not, this is something that you can incorporate. And for people who don't have a meditation practice, it seems to be a lot less intimidating and more practical. And so I've included in here as well some links to some wonderful self-compassion meditations from Dr. Kristen Neff. She is the leader in terms of self-compassion research, and she's wonderful. And then I love putting in everyday mindfulness activities, because the idea of carving out time to do something new or doing something different can be really overwhelming right now. But many of us start our day with a warm cup of coffee or tea. And so there's a wonderful mindfulness prompt from Shonda Morales that I've linked to, and you can, it really just focuses on the 5 senses, right? How does the coffee mug feel in your hand? How does the liquid feel in your mouth? Smelling the coffee. Mindfulness is really about coming back to the present moment by tapping into our 5 senses. And then the mindful shower as well. So a lot of us aren't taking a bubble bath every day, but hopefully we're showering. And we often go into scheduling and planning for the day when we're in the shower. And so this practice really helps you slow down and think about the temperature of the water, if you like the way your bath products smell, and really trying to help your mind come back to the present instead of getting lost, an hour or 2 down the line in a day. So those can be some easier things to incorporate and just some really lovely ways to practice mindfulness and see how that shifts your experience with everyday things that might not have seemed that special before. And then the science of laughter. So who says being a mom is stressful? I'm 34 and I feel fantastic. And so hopefully that gave you a little bit of a giggle. Parenting right now is certainly not for the faint of heart. And joyful laughter has been shown to produce the same brainwave frequencies as a meditative state. So I just add that little piece of science in there to make it feel more important when it comes to prioritizing laughter and joy. And that can be watching a comedy special, an old movie, or if you have a favorite show that always makes you laugh and helps you unwind, laughter yoga, all these different things that you can do, connecting with friends that make you laugh. I think right now things are so stressful and chaotic. To have those moments of levity and laughter can be really helpful. And another piece of emotional self-care is just speaking kindly to ourselves. And again, this is something we really, really hope for our children. And a great way to practice that is by speaking kindly to ourselves. I think this time is so stressful, can bring up a lot of our inner critic voice around, not doing enough for our kids or ourselves, or just not being enough. And so hopefully these affirmations are things that inspire you actually really to think of your own, because the ones that are your own language and how you would speak to a friend or yourself tend to be more believable and useful for you. But just to point out that, use your community, be proud of what you're doing as a parent, know that you don't have to get it right, because you can always change when something's not working, or remembering your resilience and strength and all the difficult things in the past that you have overcome can be useful during this time, because there's so much pressure on us right now. And, the same goes for a self-care practice. So I know in speaking with some people about self-care, they've said, oh, you're sharing all these things that are so wonderful, but now I feel guilty that I won't be able to incorporate all of them. And just know that is not my intention. We really recommend picking one or two things that you want to focus on so that it doesn't become another source of burnout or criticism that you're not doing it right or doing enough of it or doing it well. So I really introduce these things to you as sort of a self-care menu to see what it jumps out at you, what's exciting for you, what you think would really benefit you right now, but not to say that you need to be doing it all. The other tip that I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on from our Ponderosa staff are the 5 love languages. So Dr. Gary Chapman developed this, and he talks about the fact that we want to receive love in different ways. And so oftentimes in families, people have different love languages. And if you do, and you don't know that about each other, you guys can really miss the efforts the other person is making to make you feel loved and feel really frustrated and unappreciated. So this is a really quick, fun quiz that you can take with kids, teens. You can take it on your own, and you can take it with a partner to see what are the ways you like to receive love and how can you express your love to people that are important to you in a way that they can receive easier. So it's a neat quiz, and it can help you focus, because if you are doing distance learning and you have a job and you're trying to take care of the house and do all the dishes because we have so many meals at home, we don't have tons of unstructured time during the week. So when you do, you can know a little bit more what to hone in on and what kinds of experiences to prioritize. And I think it's always fun, and it doesn't feel too threatening to take a quiz and everybody gets an answer, and none of the answers are bad. It's all just different ways of wanting to feel loved and appreciated. And then here's some more just practical self-care ideas. So some quick ideas like the calming glitter jar, putting your legs up the wall, or yoga poses. The other thing is just releasing your jaw, because we do clench our teeth and hold so much tension there. Some people really respond to scent, so they might like a nice smelling lotion, especially because we're washing our hands so much for COVID safety, or a diffuser. So there's all these different quick things that you can incorporate or make easily accessible around your home so that you can do those things when you have a few moments here or there. The other idea I have is to create an at-home relaxation station, especially as we're getting ready to head into winter and the cooler months. And so knowing that there's just a nook or a box or a corner in your house where you've got some of those things that make you feel calm and make you feel cozy. And that could be tea or a cozy blanket or an aromatherapy eye pillow, just different things that can help you have those little bursts of self-care moments throughout the day. And then I wanted to share BJ Fogg's new book called Tiny Habits, which I'm really, really loving. And he puts a lot of research and context behind why we know small changes are really the way to start. So in the mental health profession, we really encourage start small, start somewhere where you can be successful, and don't take on, 10 changes at one time, because then you're probably going to feel frustrated if you're not successful at it, or you'll go really hard and then just stop because it's too much effort. And so I love his book because it talks about the power of small changes and how they can multiply over time. And he has different tips if you get his book for brain health, sleep, relationships, caregivers, parents, people that work from home, which now is so applicable because so many of us are working from home, of these small little ideas that you can do and feel really successful and excited about. For example, like he says, after it's past 3 p.m., I'll drink water instead of coffee. The other thing he asks you to do is tie in your changes to something you're already doing. So if you usually have a coffee at 11 o'clock, then one of his ideas is after that, I will text a loved one a message of appreciation. So trying to attach these little changes to different anchor points during your day so that it doesn't feel like something totally new coming into your world. So I think that's another great tip as well. And then thinking about ways that you can treat yourself. So this does go into a little bit more of what self-care is really known for, like treat yourself or buy yourself this or that. And really, I hope this presentation emphasized that self-care can be free. It doesn't need to be expensive. But if you are looking for a few items just to do something kind for yourself, something a little different, here are some self-care items that might be of interest. There's this giant stress ball that's really fun. It's about this big. the lavender aromatherapy eye pillow, which I use quite a bit just to, take a couple minutes to close my eyes throughout the day and not have the distractions of everything going on. There's an aromatherapy therapy dough called Pinch Me Dough, and they have all these different scents. And I've tried so many over the years for therapy, and this is my favorite one for adults. And then there's a journal called Unwind Every Day, and it has 365 ideas to unwind if you ever need more inspiration. And I love the 5-minute journal. It's really brief. It focuses on gratitude, attention, goal setting, just really quick bullet points. It asks you to create an affirmation for yourself every day, to think about how you can prioritize sleep and rest. So that's a great journal. I love the self-care card deck from Rachel Latham that gives you 52 ideas to be kind to yourself. And then there's also these really neat temporary self-care tattoos that you can buy as well from this company started by a teacher called Personal Pep Talk. And then this free digital card deck, the staff at Ponderosa really enjoyed, and it's beautifully designed by a graphic designer, and it has one different self-care idea for each letter of the alphabet. And so if you have younger kids too, this could be a fun way to learn their letters. And they're just really nice visual representations of 26 different self-care ideas. And then we have my favorite self-care books, my favorite self-care podcasts, and apps for meditation, for meal planning, sleep, and trying to cope with stress. So I hope that these were some useful ideas to kickstart or to think about ways that you want to focus on self-care during these strange and challenging times. And if you have any specific questions, I'd love to speak with you individually about it. I really enjoy getting to connect with parents. So I hope everybody takes care and stays well.